Welcome to Black City.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Something you can kick back and listen to.
Yeah,
Good, how are you?
not too bad, man. Hey, first of all, let me just, let me just, what do you call it?
That's
Oh, what the fuck, man? I got this shit tripping for a second, bro. You know what I mean? I thought I was my other one.
You're right.
But you know what I mean? Let me introduce you first, man. You know what I mean? Introduce yourself first, brother. You know what I mean? Welcome to Black City.
Yeah, thank you.
You know what I mean? And it's fucking so good to have you here, man. You
Thank
know what I
you.
mean? So introduce yourself, let our people know what's up, and then we can
My name's
just...
Sean. Me and Dot used to work together. And so, yeah, we're just catching up. And I asked, what are you doing? I saw the podcast. And, I'm all about encouraging people. So,
Nah, I appreciate that shit, man. Fucking long time, my brother.
really
time,
long.
man.
Yeah.
What's been happening? What's new?
Oh, so, just staying busy, working.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got hit by the floods. So, we've been kind of moving.
You got hit.
Yeah.
Damn, man. It's like,
at a boondle.
true that.
Yeah.
I always see that on the news, man, where I'm like, shit, I feel sorry for what I'm seeing on TV, but I never imagine like my house getting flooded and shit. Like it never comes to your head until it like happens to you.
Happens. Yeah. So, we like had to break through the front window, through the security window and stuff, and have our ready to go bags and throw it out the window. And the water was like maybe 4 or 5 feet up.
You're kidding, like
Yeah. So it had to, I own a husky, so
so your dog was swimming on that?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. I thought it was a great thing, but so everybody had their go bags, and we jumped out the window. And then my partner Kim, she had a cat above her head, and she's shorter than me, so it was pretty high on her.
So hold on, the water came in while you was while y'all was in the house.
Yeah.
So you stayed until this thing like kept stacking. You was
so
there.
we were first thing we did is once you start to see the water and people in the street, you didn't really think that
It's coming to you.
Yeah, it's coming to you.
Yeah.
You never.
Nah.
I mean, of course you don't, because you're like,
Nah, you don't, man.
right? So it was like we didn't think it was going to happen, and then my partner was like, "It's going to happen. It's going to happen," and I'm like, "Nah." And then it started. And so I called my dad, and I was like, this is what the weather looks like. And I said, I went out into the backyard, and I said the ground is really spongy. And he's like, yeah, all right. So see if you can get sandbags. If you can't, grab blankets and sheets and just anything that can soak up water.
Whatever you can.
Put it in a plastic bag, and then just start stuffing it in all the places. So by the time we got out, the water outside the house was a lot higher than the water inside the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But when it got to the point where, because, you're running around the house saving everything off anything that's low, you're trying to put up.
What about like all your electrical stuff? Like that's...
Yeah, like...
Hey, you can't save none of that. You ain't trying to save your TV. You can't...
Yeah, everything goes on your bed, and
what's the first thing that came in your mind that you had to save? Because you got all this, right? Like, think about it. You got all this, the whole house.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that, that you wanted to save?
That's what was the first thing I wanted to grab?
You know what I mean? You just get stuck like, TV? Nope,
No,
that's weird.
Yeah. So, to be honest, I was more concerned about just making sure everybody was out of the house.
To that,
everybody was safe. Because...
No kids? In the house?
No. It was just us and
you can swim,
people
right?
living with us. Oh, all right, cool, yeah. It was just us and other people that was living with us.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So, and like everyone's an adult, so we all just kind of, everybody went into their room, started saving stuff. Anything electrical, anything important, they put it on the bed. My partner was like, if you keep trying to stop the water from coming in, I'll pack everything that we need. Just soldier dude. She just went and got stuff done. So we've been moving around, and we're finally, not far from you, just a couple of suburbs away now. But this is the 4th time we've moved in 1 year.
God damn. Hey, first of all, I wanted 2 seconds anyway before you keep going on with the story.
Sure.
I was like, did you want to like twist your chair a little bit around, or he's like, what what I mean, whatever gonna make you comfortable in that. Because I was like, I was looking, on the camera there. I'm like, hold up, but
I'm tall, yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah. Shit, all right.
Yeah. But you're taller than me, so what do I got to talk about?
Tall problems, bro. We got problems with that shit.
True.
But yeah, anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, so I've stayed in hospitality, so I'm in that. But And that pretty much gave you a call and see what's up. And
Nick, all right. It's been like the last time, you know what I mean? It's like so much has happened and like it's been years since we last even caught up. You know what I mean? And it's like through our lives, like so much things is happening that, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't remember, you know what I mean? Like last time I saw you, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'll be always being engaged and, you know, being through bullshit, you know what I mean? And I heard that you got married.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got married.
You know what I mean? It's like,
married, yeah.
Fill me in, man.
Yeah, yeah. Gee, when I was working with you, probably when I left there is probably when I realized that we decided that it wasn't going to happen. So I was married.
You was married?
Yeah.
So how long were you married for?
Gee, probably wasn't very long. Maybe less than 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was 2010. So it's almost like it's over a decade away.
Damn.
That make you feel old quick, right?
God damn.
Yeah. So, married, divorced, learned a lot going through that.
What happened, if you don't mind? Only if you want to talk about it.
Yeah,
you know
just
like, or what
let's
you
just
learned
say
from
I'll
that.
be more like what I learned from it. So, it's just kind of like it's kind of like communication is key, but then it's not key.
Damn.
Yeah.
Explain.
So sometimes I say when you're in a relationship, less is more.
Less is more. From
the male point of view.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the reason why I say that is in my experience and from what being married and stuff taught me was sometimes when you get emotional.
Yep, like we all do.
Yeah, when you can get emotional. Sometimes
get less emotional.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think looking back, if I went to more of my male friends who were either married or married and or divorced, I would have learned more. Before you got married? You're saying, or while you was married? Yeah, while I was married.
Okay, yep. Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Because I found that sometimes when you're married, that you just want to go to, your wife at the time and just, talk about things. But now that I think that in a sort of a way, it kind of made her double guess me.
Okay.
Right? So, because I think that now like, if you're a bloke and you want to have a relationship with someone, you need to express that type of confidence that you can handle anything.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. And I think she would probably have wanted to put that confidence in me, or she probably saw that right at the start. Right. And I think when you share with them about stuff and deep stuff, that could probably change their view that maybe this person
it's not as strong as I thought.
Can't take on the world. Feel me?
Yeah.
Because like you get married, right? And you're thinking about things like legacy and you're thinking about things like, children and
straight up.
Yeah, right. And even that, and then like especially as a bloke, you kind of realize that now your life isn't about you. It's about your children and about your wife and about moving forward and you're stepping forward in strength.
And you got to put all your shit to the side.
Yeah, correct. Right?
Damn.
But then when you relate, when you go on and take on the world, and these days, whoever is that person in the relationship, you kind of feel like the narrative that, because my mum raised me, and so the narrative that I was kind of taught was like, you can go to her for anything, which is true, but it's not true.
To your mom or to your wife?
To your wife.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right? Because I think I kind of understood I kind of understand now why guys have like man caves.
Damn, I was
Right?
just,
Because I've realized, like, with my partner now, she understands that if I am going through something, she just wants to make sure that I'm healthy.
yeah.
Have you eaten? Can I get you anything? I understand that you need your space, because like I tend to find that guys like to brood over things.
Yeah.
Right. And it could be something serious. Or it could be just like, how does that? Yeah. Right.
Petty shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. So, but they don't know
what it is.
What it is. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and my partner was like, she's like, my brain doesn't stop thinking. It's always on, right? Whereas, and you see all the YouTube videos and stuff about like guys' brains and girls' brains and how guys can just switch off what they're thinking about and stuff like that, right? So, I lost my train of thought. No. But yeah, so it was kind of like guys like to brood, right? So you get into that state and you like to brood, but she can't see that you're brooding. She doesn't know why. I mean, because her brain's going 100 miles an hour. It could quite easily go to the worst thing ever possible, you know? And it's different with each person, because some people have anxieties which could take it that far, and some people could be like, oh, no, you know, he just needs him, right? He just needs his own time. So
do you think that's why like men a lot like they hold a lot of freaking like emotions in? It's like all the hard shit they're going through, they just, you know, it's hard to turn to your woman. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feel like it's a brother that you can talk to. That's what
I've learned, right? Yeah, right. So, you know,
I don't think women understand that though. They're always like, you can talk to me about everything. It's just
when does that work for you?
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? So I understand that, like, you know, when you're saying, you know, it's like we can't really tell them all of our emotions, how we're really feeling, because you're supposed to be that man of the house. You're supposed to be the one that's holding down, you know what I mean, the family home.
Yeah, right.
And then now, you know what I mean, you're that emotional one breaking down, you know what I mean, in a lot of shit.
Yeah, they can put
you know what I mean? Like some women stop putting down.
Yeah, and it could be, I would even go so far as to say it might not even be conscious. It might be subconscious. They might not know why they're losing attraction to you. Feel me?
True that, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then messed up things can happen. So, right. So, I mean, I'm not saying that could be every scenario, but I think my personal feeling is that it's probably more so than not, even if it's talked about or not. Because, I think you might even have a point when you were like, you take on all the world, but no one wants to listen to. And I think that probably correlates because, you know, isn't it something like men have like the worst like suicide rates or
men do, you know what I mean, like even 44% like under the age of 45. You know what I mean, like
shocking.
It's crazy, man. And you know, a lot of it, you know, is to do with relationships.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And 90, you know what I mean, 90% of it is to do with relationships, someone you love, you know what I mean.
Do you think it's because guys don't feel like they have an outlet?
I just feel like guys don't know how to talk about their emotions. You know what I mean? Like, they just...
Okay. Why do you feel like they can't talk about their emotions?
I don't know. It's just because I feel like, you know, we have this, you know, myself too, I'll put it down because I had to learn to really talk, you know, to let my emotions out and be this emotional guy.
Right.
But back in the days when I, you know, it was like this pride thing. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like a weakness.
Yeah, right.
It's, you know, it felt like more of a weakness, you know, it was some like, you know, I don't want to see, you know, you see me down.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Some things, you know what I mean? I can handle anything. You know what I mean? And like we build this thing inside of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But really, we really dying inside. You know what I mean? When shit are really hurting is in that, you know what I mean? Is that, you know, man, we go cry, man, when no one is looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we all do. You know what I mean? It's like nobody said they, you know, they don't cry.
Would you say that do you think back, like as you say, back in the day, do you think being emotional was seen as weakness?
Yeah, I did. You know what I mean? Definitely. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was, especially when, you know, when you don't know yourself, I guess.
Yeah, right.
You know, because I believe that, you know, emotions.
Just quickly, do you think, if we're talking about relationships, do you think it's a sign of weakness in your girlfriend or your wife or your fiance's eyes? or weakness in the eyes of other males? That'll make you think because sometimes if I see for me personally, if I see a guy really going through it, I might not be emotional in the state of how like my girlfriend is to her girlfriend, but I could be like, man, you good? Are you good?
That's how we usually do it.
Like, or something like that. Like, right?
Or we just usually turn around like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, because guys are kind of like, you kind of look at someone and just be like.
Because just think about it though, you know what I mean?
So
it's like.
That's why I asked the question. Do you think it's weakness in the eyes of your wife or fiance or your girlfriend, or if it's other guys looking at you?
I think it's just the people you know.
Yeah, right.
The people more, you know what I mean? Like, I guess, like, like your girl, you know what I mean? You'll get your missus, your friends, you know what I mean? Because, like.
So it doesn't matter who it is, it's just as long as they know you.
Yeah.
And you're tight with them.
Yeah. I just felt like more was just anybody and everybody, really, to be, you know what I mean? Like, when I really think about it was just. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like this thing yourself, you just don't want to see your, what you know what I mean, what you gonna do. It's like, you held your freaking shit high. It's like, we were taught this thing of, in our culture back home. So they always say, goom means just suck it in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's killed a lot of our people. You know what I mean? And it's the biggest thing in, I believe, like in humanity problem.
Sure,
you know what I mean? That thing of just like, suck it up as a man.
Yeah, right.
You're a man, suck it up.
Yeah, right.
That's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't talk about your problems.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And just because you just have that thing of I'm a man, you know what I mean? Like regardless, like nobody's supposed to know my problems. So it's just for everybody, I guess. You know what I mean? Even your own friends too, you know what I mean? It's like, and that is why I like a lot of people, because we all got friends, but no one reaches out to their friends. And 44% of people committing suicide, they all got friends.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? But they don't reach out to their friends.
Yeah, interesting.
Because I guess, you know what I mean? It's like not just, it's everybody, because it's this thing of that man thing that's being brought into us of we're supposed to do this. Or we're supposed to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see your point. No, I really do see your point. And it's important because, that percentage is so high, right?
It's big, man. Like,
so yeah, it's important that. So I think after what you said, I probably think that in my experience, if I opened up more to my male friends about the situation, I think their experience would speak volumes into my life that I should have, because like a decade ago, right? So into my life, because I don't know, there's an old African saying, and that is, you stand tall because you stand on the shoulders of your ancestors. Have you ever heard anything like that before?
I'm not.
Yeah, right.
That's deep.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I think so. So it's stuck with me. So the reason why you stand tall is because you stand on the shoulders of your ancestors. So in that regard, I probably think that I should have gone to other blokes that have been through or going through what I've been through. Because experience speaks volumes over theory, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I went wrong. Yeah. But I mean, every relationship's a two-way street.
But it comes like this though. It's like, is it exactly what you said? It's like two-way street, because it's like for you to, spill out how you feeling, really what you're going through.
Right.
That would sort of give me the lean way. You know what I mean? The open way, like, but you know what I mean? Like sort of whatever, even 10% or whatever, saying that, okay, maybe I can, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's already done it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's my friend in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's always need that somebody to talk about their stories, because we always sit there and be like, if you're going through something, reach out, reach out to me. And then we all going through problems, right?
Right.
But I think that what people really want to hear is what you're really going through, you know what I mean? Yeah. Out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not to say that, come talk to me about it. They really want to hear what people are going through, so they can really relate to that. And then I think that's how they'll reach out to us in a way, you know what I mean? But that's what I think, instead of always like, you can talk to me, but yet, you have not, expressed yourself in a way.
I think for the first time in my life, like when I realized that our marriage was over, I think the shocking thing was how oblivious I was to what she was probably telling me in her way.
What do you mean?
That things were going to end, right? So
Yeah.
I think
There were signs.
yeah. But I'm not a mind reader.
We're not. That's facts. Because you know how women be sitting there next to you thinking like, looking at you going, I wonder what he's thinking. And you out there thinking like, yo, McDonald's right now is good or some shit. You know what I mean? Or you just thinking about like a boat ride or something. You know what I mean? You got nothing to do with females.
Nothing to do, yeah. Yeah.
But they were like, wonder what's thinking like.
Yeah, right.
Because we shouldn't even be trying to think of what the other person is thinking. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? Especially women. They should be doing that.
Right?
That's when you put yourself into this paranoia, you know what I mean? Anxiety, anxious, and I wonder what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Ask me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what are you thinking? Babe, like, you just asked me really like 2 seconds ago, you know what I was just thinking? I was just thinking about taking a nice long shit. I was literally just like, you know what I mean? Like, we just, you know, instead of,
shit, you know how bad it could get? You could be in trouble for something that isn't even a part of your reality. She could be angry at you in a dream and you could be in trouble for the whole day, right? And it was her dream, right?
But why do you think is that? Why do you think of that? Why do you think of that? Do you think the females is they just have to fight? Is this in them? Like,
they have to fight?
Like they just have to fight their partner. Like they need, like, all right, maybe if they have kids.
After put it this way, man. When my marriage broke down, right? First thing, it was shocking because it was a shock to me because I didn't see the signs, right? That she was giving out. And so you could argue on her side that she was communicating with me.
How? Would she tell you? Yo, babe.
Well,
I'm starting to feel you right now. Like,
it could be. Yeah, it could be that plus a mixture of other things. But I think it was, I didn't think I was either you know what's real, bro? Like, I'm getting shivers. Maybe I ignored it because I didn't want to face reality myself.
You didn't want to face reality yourself.
Maybe I ignored it.
Damn, that's actually deep. I think a lot of people do that.
You know, so I mean,
we do you believe we can get blinded by love? You know, just like because
that's hard because you could, love and lust, right?
Whatever you was feeling, whatever it is,
you can. I think
you can be blinded by lust.
I think you could get blinded,
and
I think unfortunately, if you do get blinded, it's your fault.
Yep. In fact, yeah. Because nobody shut your eyes, only you did.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
Fact.
Like you're in charge of who you are and your decisions you make, and you got to live with that. So, So I think you can get.
Do you believe a lot of people lose themselves when they get into a relationship?
I think a lot of people. It's I think. Gee, ask her. Yeah,
ask yourself. You know what I mean? Always go back to yourself too. You know what I mean? Because I relate, and then I goes back to myself like, damn, how did you, in your own relationship, did you ever feel like when you look back, you like, there's a part where you literally lost yourself, where you didn't communicate with friends, you just like literally shut the world down, you know what I mean? And because that's not who you are until you get into your relationship and you block everything that was you.
Yeah, true.
But that's to me anyway, but.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah, I can admit that. Yeah, I did. I feel bad about it.
But
I still think about it in the sense of like, how did I let myself get changed? Because I'm in charge of me, right? So I can choose not to change or to change. And like, we're all born with like what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And you can feel it, it's like people that who care about you, who are in contact with your life that you just kind of like, but it's funny, right? Notice how like every time someone has broken up with someone else, you'll always have people in the background who's like, see, I told you so.
Yep.
Good or bad, close or foreign to you.
Yep.
every relationship that you always have that person. So whether if you want to listen to them or not, but you still got to stand by whatever decision you make.
It's same thing. What I tell people, as soon as you sign yourself on social media, Facebook, this, somebody's gonna say some dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everybody's gonna agree with everything that you say or whatever you do.
Everybody.
You cannot please everybody.
Just try to be happy.
But the only person you can never please is yourself, and we forget that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's like,
because sometimes you're too busy pleasing other people and not realizing.
Yeah. So now, like after your relationship, you know what I mean? You feel like you learned a lot, and
dude, I learned so much. It's crazy.
Especially look back at and you like visualize like.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn about the dynamic of relationships as well. You do a lot of reading. It's true that people are like, guys usually go to YouTube to teach them stuff.
Oh, so I learned how to work. I swear to God. Check out my last episode. That's where I learned how to work. We literally built a house.
Oh, really?
Through YouTube. You'd be shocked. I show you some shit. You're gonna fucking me and my friend and just
Wow.
My friend got a job and then he helped me. It's like yo, come help me out. So everything that we end up, he didn't even know half of the shit that he was doing. He had to freaking it's like oh shit, okay, how we gonna fucking tear out the floor and put on this shit right. YouTube. Yeah, 5 minutes, we know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, so I did a lot of that after my marriage and stuff. So and it was crazy. Like just everything that I think that my mum taught me about how to treat women, I get more success doing the opposite, which is mind-boggling to me.
About how to treat women?
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay.
Because my mum was like, almost kind of like you got to, in a sense, put a woman on a pedestal.
Okay, yeah.
And don't get me wrong.
No, I'm hearing, I'm listening.
Like, I respect my mum, right?
Yeah.
And so I respect all females. My mum raised me on her own. I respect everything that she did. She's
amen to that, my brother.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. And so also being an islander and living in Australia can have its own challenges as well. Yeah. And at the time that she moved here, I think was right towards the end of the White Australia policy, I think. So even though it might have finished a couple of years beforehand, I think that it was still prevalent in society, but society's come a long way since then, of course. But so she raised me basically on her own, and I give her all the props to that. And I love my dad. My dad's awesome. I speak very highly of my dad. We have a great relationship.
Straight up.
So it was kind of like, because my mum has a high status in society back home as well, just amongst her peers and that. Because there's a thing, I don't know if it's with like other minorities, but if you're the eldest, you get more respect than people that are younger than you, or you're kind of like in charge of like the family.
It's supposed to be, the elders, right? It's always the elders, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you get your ass kicked.
That's our coach too, man. The elders is the first one to get married, you know what I mean? Like the younger one can't get married until the elders get married. So it's always, you're the first for everything, Okay. But now, we all fighting that. So, because some elders now like, fuck it.
Sure.
So they're starting to accept the next going to do to get married.
So it was just kind of like, and I found when I did that, I lost myself. Because I wasn't, because I think anyone in any relationship, if you have to change yourself to make the other person happy and you realize that you're not yourself anymore, then there's a communication issue.
Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't mature enough to see that, basically. So yeah.
Fuck, that's good. How long did you know each other before y'all got married?
Shit. It was maybe 5-6 years. Oh, so it wasn't quick. Like
y'all was together for a while too.
Took time to like, you really got to, like sometimes I hear about people like they just meeting and, they just.
People that met in Tinder and got married in 6 months, bro. I'm like,
and I'm like, that is crazy.
Bad. I'm like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but they're still together. I'm like,
Wow.
What do you reckon? Like, you believe like
I'm like, you gotta live with someone.
But let me ask you though, like, there's some people like, you'd rather a girl that's been through it, like, you know, been through that whole tactic, you know what I mean? And because you know, it's the people that say you can't make a whole housewife, but I reckon like they end up becoming the best housewife because they've been through the shit. Sometimes, you know what I mean? In some stages.
Obviously, I can see your point. Do you think there's baggage though?
Girls always got baggage.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? And sometimes you don't know. You don't know. But then, you know, the ones now they come with kids.
Put it this way. I think anyone can be a great wife.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just depends on the level of responsibility you take for the actions that you've made before to bring you to where you are. Right? So if you've been through it, as you say, you've come across people who have been through it and they blame everybody else about the situation, right? And then you can see people that have been through it but have been responsible for the actions that they've made and they've learned from it.
True, because think about it, and that tripped me out because how many porn stars I know that are fucking happily married, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, that's like everybody hitting that, you know what I mean? But then it's like they just this loyal fucking thing,
right? Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like they've been through it. Like, I had every dick in the, you know, I'm good now with one. Like, you know what I mean?
I miss you, bro.
But you know, like, it's crazy
what about people that actually married to escorts, male or female?
Either, you know what I mean? Like, eventually, right? This is how I look at it, right? Because
would you be married you be married to someone who did OnlyFans?
How long does a career end? Nah, not me, bro. Nah, come on, man. I got some pride. You know what I mean? Like, I want my lady. I want my lady to, you know, like, you know, self-respect on the street. You know what I mean? By freaking the sheets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Lady in the street.
Yeah.
Freaking the bed.
You know, I was raised by mama, so you know, we want a lady. You know, we want a lady and shit, bro. All that crap is this. It's on the side.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, that answers your question.
That's wild, man. So, hey, what national is your wife?
Australian.
Australian, okay.
Yeah. My current girlfriend is half Malaysian, half Dutch.
Okay, so let me ask you something. You know, like, okay, the difference of the culture, like you know, how was it? You know what I mean? Because, you know, y'all Fijians, y'all, you know, family orientated and, you know, so much in community and things like, how was it, you know what I mean, on that side? You know what I mean? Was she a lot coming through, you know what I mean, to the family community things and, you know what I mean, like trying to be one? And
I can't, how do I put it? I can't speak for her, but I think that even though you try to welcome someone, I always had a guilty feeling that they weren't 100% comfortable or they weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
If that is me picking up on signals or if it's just me looking at my own insecurities being like, are you okay with like hanging out with
now we can feel signals, man, because
dark people?
I'll be real with you. Like,
but it wasn't even like that. It was just I didn't, you know, like I say that as a joke, but it was like, are you okay with like hanging out with like, you know, Islanders and stuff like that, right? Because, you know, family's really important to
that's
Islanders,
right.
Right? I think a lot of other cultures.
It is. Family's always, man, number one culture.
Yeah, even my partner now is big on family, big on communication.
And that's what you gotta learn.
And that was important, you know. I could see I never really had that myself, but in the sense of when my mum and my dad split, I wasn't very big on communication with them because I was still dealing with the fact that I'm not in, you know, one house. I'm 10 houses and whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I could see it in her. Like she talks to her family all the time, and they're on chat online and stuff. So, Yeah, and I kind of look at that and be like, I see that in my community.
Yeah.
I see that with like other islanders, and I see that like in my own family. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my family to death, and I love like my culture to death. But I think maybe introducing her to my culture, I was always conscious about making her feel comfortable.
Yeah,
which is weird growing up in Australia, right? Because there's a thing where why, thinking about it, why am I feeling anxious about someone accepting me?
That's
in
deep.
a weird way, right?
That's deep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
this how let's put it down, man, because I had to like even me open my eyes, you know what I mean, a bigger sight, you know what I mean, because my best friend was white, you know what I mean, feel Aussie.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean? And I grew up here.
Sure.
And you see the difference, you know what I mean, with, when I go into their club or their parties, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm one of you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like this tall black dude that's freaking stand out and freaking whoopity whoop. But still like, I feel like I blend in with my brothers.
Yeah, sure.
And you know what I mean? But then it's like the opposite. And you know what I mean? And you feel that. And then like, as younger age, you know what I mean? Like, he was my homeboy. So, you know what I mean? It came into things and you know what I mean? Like, we young, you know what I mean? Sure. So we came drunk real quick and moved out.
Sure.
But now as we get older, I really tend to see and realize that because it's uncomfortable for a lot of Aussies to be surrounded by so many black people.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, even I have to see that in my own friends. Like my own eyes to I have to step back. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say it, but you just see the uncomfortability that they feel in that situation where it's like, yo, let's go hit that at a club and shit. You know what I mean? Sure. And it's like, don't think I know. I'm like, yeah, I just go because I know they're already uncomfortable. So I'm like already walking with them, going to that club, and I'm already, you know what I mean, like into this white world, into that white club.
Right.
But I seen how they feel so uncomfortable, but they won't say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to say it. They're my boys. You know what I mean? We come like, okay, stand
so
that corner.
Are you saying you feel it from them saying that to you? Or you
No, they don't say it. I just see it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because you know how you feel vibe. You feel a vibe from people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when someone's comfortable, it's like, when a girl is very uncomfortable and shit, like you see it. You know what I mean? And you just see that uncomfortable from sign languages. You know what I mean? When we say a lot of human, we can read sign languages. Yeah. And it's not a big thing because, I'll go into the club and jump to the front and you come into thinking it's like, you've been just that corner, you know what I mean? Sort of thing, just talking. But then usually when you're out there in every club, it's like you're in the middle. You know what I mean? Like you just do you.
Yeah.
But it's like, what makes you don't feel like, but I don't know what it is, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just like when you're walking at nighttime and a white person lock their door when you're just walking by, you know what I mean? It's just,
right. Dude,
it's there.
This happened to me. No word of a lie, right? This happened to me. So being in hospitality, right, you'll go to like TAFE or something like that and learn a quick F&B course or something like that. So, and then TAFE has got to give you work experience. You've got to get work experience hours up to get whatever certificate or diploma or whatever, right? So it's got to count, right? Feel me? So I was getting work experience hours at the Brisbane Convention Centre.
Okay.
Right. So I was working banquets, right? And so I finished late, caught the bus back. I'm broke now. Right? So I was catching the bus back. Now I'm wearing dress shoes. Black dress trousers. Yeah, thanks. Black dress trousers, white button up, bow tie, vest, right? But it was cold, right? So I have just got my black jacket on because it keeps me warm. Yeah. So I get off at Stafford Road, right? Get off the bus, right? Walking home. It's probably about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And so
big black dude walking down the street.
Right.
11 o'clock. That's how scary you're already.
And like you're over 6 foot.
Tell me, man.
Right. So I'm over 6 foot as well, right? So
just smile.
Three of us. You'd see me. Right? You'd see me. So you'd be, you got off the bus and then three of us got off and then one person went left and me and this old lady went right. Now, I've got a I've got a Maori friend on the north side that I grew up with, and his name's Torta. Shout out to Torta.
Shout out Torta.
He got bitten on the arm by a dog.
Oh,
right, and there's a mark there, and so I was always like, I'm cool with dogs, but I don't want to get bitten by a dog, right? Right. So that teaches some stuff. So we were walking back, and we were coming up through the top of Kedron there off Sandgate Road, and then I know walking to work that there's this dog in the yard. I think it was a staffy, and it got close to the fence, and I thought it was going to come jump the fence, right, on the way to work. So I was already conscious that there's a dog in that yard. So me and this old lady, we're walking down this street, and I'm trying to get back to Turner Road, and then she lives down near the bowling alley down near Kedron. So we're walking. And she's getting a bit faster, right? And I'm like, oh shit, something must be going on. So I start walking a bit faster.
Yeah. It's a black man thing. Hey, it's always not walking fast. You don't ask questions.
Yeah, well, black people die first in horror movies. So, right? So she starts walking faster. So then I start freaking. So I start walking faster, right? And then I turn around and say, is there a dog? Because about, that dog and stuff. And then this lady literally turns around and just is like, screams at me. Yeah. We're like single file, right? Because we're both like on the trot, right?
Oh, she started walking fast. You started running fast.
Well, dude, whatever scared her is going to scare me, right? Regardless if it could be the Candy Man, it could be,
Booty Man, whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, like black people in Supernatural. Yeah. So she screams at me, and then she like tears off down the street, like freaking out, right? And I'm like,
you start freaking out.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't, like black people, we don't even look back. We just
you start chasing her. Where you going?
I'm going with you, right?
God damn.
So I'm like, I can't hear anything behind me running, like, because you know how you can hear the dog across the road, and and the nail and the claws, right? Mm-hmm. You can hear it, right? And I'm like, and I'm running, and then I'm like, hey, I don't hear anything. So I stop and I turn around, and there's like no one behind me. I'm like, what am I running from, right? So I'm like, oh man. So I catch my breath. I'm like, I think she's running from me. I'm like, that bitch is running from me. What the
Bro, she must have been quick. Right, she must have been quick.
Dude, geriatric Olympics, dude. Like, Walker, whatever, dude. Yeah, she was just gone. So, at the street, you go down this street, and then it's got like a little S turn. So, it goes right and then left.
You're kidding. So what went through your mind after that? Like when you realized it was nothing, like when you start, what was going through your mind?
All in a flash, all in like a couple of seconds. I was hurt, angry, and like if you know Islanders are cheeky as fuck. Right? Yes. So I started giggling, and then I ran to the corner, right? So I ran to the corner, and here she is, like just waiting, just underneath the street light. So it goes up, then it goes right, then left, and there's a street light there. And so I sprint up to the corner, and I just peek around the corner, right? And she's there
waiting.
You're waiting, like out of breath, and she's catching her breath, and she's waiting. So I'm like, so I started whistling the elephant dance song thing, like I started whistling that, and I just walked around the corner casually, and she was like, looked at me again, screamed the neighborhood down. It was like, she's like, oh my god, I'm
about to be
puppies
raped.
I don't know, man. And then so she took a right and ran down the hill. Yeah. So I was like, oh damn. Man. So I was like, okay, so I got to go straight to go home, right? And on the corner, there's a street lamp because it's lighting up the intersection. So she's right, and she's literally standing out the front of her gate of her house or flat or whatever, halfway down the street, and she's looking up at me, right? So I walk under the street light, right? And as I'm walking to the street light, I turn my cap forward, and then I face her. And I put a cigarette in my mouth. Now, because the street light is over me, you can't see my face, right? So I'm
so
like,
you did that cheeky shit.
Yeah, so I put a cigarette in my mouth, and then I lit it. And as I lit it, I looked at her, and she just like lost it. She could have puppies right there on the street. She was freaking out so much. And then she ran into a house. I literally went home. I went home, right? I put 2-minute noodles on. Sat on my front step, and I went 3, 2, 1, and
police.
Stafford police are like roaring up, turn around.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, dude, like, yeah. Yeah. So it's happened to me. Sorry about the long explanation, but yeah, that happened to me, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fuck. It wouldn't be funny to turn around just like, it's just wave at her with a big smile on your face.
Just
like,
be like, what's up?
I live next door if you ever want to say hi.
I'll bring over some sugar.
Yeah. Like, if you ever want to borrow anything, I'm a friendly neighbor. But, and that's, man, it's like, it makes you think, hey, like, it's like when people, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, like, I have friends who didn't understand or really see racism. You know what I mean? It's like until they really came with me to the clubs, and you know what I mean? Like I had like white girls really just literally like drop in tears and just couldn't believe the way I was being treated of just, you know, because I'm like, I've been here for fucking over 25 years. Wow. So it's like, you know, for me going to the club, I've been through it all. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I just know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? If I'm going to a club, you know, I know myself. I'm not, you know, wasted. I'm not what. And I always go with the right attire. They're talking about the shoes, whatever. You know what I mean? So I go in and shit, and you know, sometimes I make some bullshit up. Oh, you're too drunk. I'm like, can you get the breathalyzer? Yeah. Or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'll be with some people there, and like always, like just watch. You know what I mean? And follow and see the whole shit. And you know, and it really surprised a lot of my friends who really, you know, seen it. You know what I mean? Where I had to like come walk my path for a minute and just walk behind me. Yeah, and like walk in my shoes. You know what I mean? Like you don't understand it. A lot of people don't understand it when we just say it or when we talk about it. You know what I mean? But it's like I feel like, you know, some of these white people need to just come and just walk with us, you know what I mean, through these kind of journeys, through the club, you know what I mean? Just walk with a teenager that you think is children. Just in life. Just in life. Just walk, you know what I mean? And just, you know, come out and see it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, it's a lot of bullshit and, you know, a lot of treatments. Like, even me when I'm walking just down, like, my down the street over there, it's like you don't see, like, black nigga down the neighborhood or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the police will see, you see him slow down. And I'm so used to that. You know what I mean? Like I just know now how to approach, you know. If you pull up, you pull your lights, I just keep walking like a damn normal citizen because, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, we've had enough. You know what I mean? I'm not going to keep stopping for you.
Especially what happened recently, right?
Yeah. With the Queensland police thing. Yeah. Oh, you seen that?
Oh, yeah, I heard about it.
Man. I haven't heard the audio, man, but it's just, you know, and
how does that make you feel though? Like you've been here for 20 years. Okay. So you've kind of seen it from both sides. You said you've had white friends and stuff.
The thing is,
so it's shocking, I'm sure.
No, not really. It's more of, I want people to see of always, instead of judging us of like, why? Because I really want them to understand why, you know, sometimes we black folks, we really dislike the police. You know, some of us, you know, don't get in trouble with the police, but we just had that, you know, altercation with them where they just treat you like you're a freaking criminal. And that, you know what I mean? And so we just have this hardly dislike, you know what I mean, from the way that we're being treated, you know what I mean? And then, you know, when you see things like this, you know what I mean, it's just, we just, you know, sometimes hope that people, you know what I mean, our white community can, you know, understand and really, we can really do something about it, you know what I mean, or how we can work together, you know, because like when you look at the police force, you know what I mean, and there was that Aboriginal police guy who's been in it for 30 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he was, you know, got high. Right. And he was talking about on the news of how he really, you know what I mean, had to go on that side where he had to diss his own people in front of his white counterpounders, he counter thing to fit in. You know what I mean? Because of where it was and that. You know what I mean? You're talking about our Aboriginal leaders been there for over 30 years. It was on the news.
That's crazy.
And that, I'm talking about like, so he had to retire. You know, resign from this because it's just. You know, he lost himself. He lost his discipline, the way that just people. And then now when we look at the police force, like, come on. You know, it's like, do you see a dark? Do you see, you know, it's like we need it to be, you know.
You know what the crazy thing is?
Multicultural.
Yeah, sure. No, and I get it. I think, you know, I always believe in integration instead of assimilation. But I think it's crazy if, from what you're telling me, is if you're in an environment where you have to diss your own people to fit in, it's not even toxic. It's to the point where it's like, one, why are other people so comfortable saying that in your presence? What does it do to you that you have to eat it? to dance that
to be honest,
dance,
like when I look at it like that, though, it sort of reminds me of, you know, my childhood, because you know what I mean, like as a black kid, it's like you try to fit in somewhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And when you are like every single counterpart and everybody around you, you know what I mean, it's fair skin.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? And you don't want to be an outsider, you know what I mean? And especially when you're young, you know, you're trying to fit in, you know what I mean? So whatever the hell it is that you have to do.
You know what my joke in primary school used to be? You know how they used to give out suntan lotion to everyone for them to go outside? You're already smiling. You don't even know where I'm going.
Sunscreen, kids.
Yeah.
Man, I don't like. Thank God, man. Like sunscreen is just
pretty light.
Oh,
but anyway, I used to line up and everybody like, why do you need sunscreen? I'm like, well, everyone else is doing it. I just want to
that's you know, I was like, hey, moisturize, man. You know what I mean? I got ashy elbows right now.
I got the ashy. No.
You're using it for your heat. I'm using it because I got ashy elbows.
Exactly. I get to
you know, but yeah, you know what I mean? That's what because in this, and it's like a lot of industry, man, and because I swear to God, man, it's like, you know, it's you know, especially like when you're the only black person, no matter where you are. You know what I mean? No matter, you know, your workplace or whatever situation. You know what I mean? It's like
you're always the first one noticed.
Yeah, and there was all those things like because it happened to me. You know what I mean? And growing up, and even my workplace, the last workplace I was at for 4 years.
Sure.
And you know, when I first walked in there, it was like, especially some old like just literally like look at me with disgust, and they don't even know me and shit. You know what I mean? Like walking in the room and just look at their stuff.
Yeah.
And there was one thing that always used to irritate me. Sometimes I just let them be like, I just see them and just always like, because I always believe that my energy was always going to overcome that hate. You know what I mean? So if I was always going to be happy and what I was going to force my happiness onto their ass. Yeah. So, I was just like, just didn't care of, how negative they were. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, how you doing? Right? And just, always give energy freaking there at work. Okay. And it got to a point, man, like where so many just little things where I'm like, okay, I just see who you are. But then it's like, I'd come to work and, there'd be news or something happened in Melbourne or some shit, you know what I mean? And it's one thing that always pissed me off, you know what I mean? The first thing a white man would always ask me is like, hey man, you know what happened? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, these guys. Yeah, right. I'm like, motherfucker, I work here with you in Brisbane, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? And it happened like a lot, like, you know what I mean, to open my eyes. Because I don't know if people doing it. But
I can feel you, right?
You feel me. I know you feel me. Exactly.
It's funny too, because it's like, when you bring up these topics, if every person that starts laughing is because they can relate and they have a story, right? Yeah. So
it's like when I used to say, yo, you know what I mean? I was hanging out with my boy the other day and shit. I had to remind my, like when I'm talking to white friends, I'm like, yo, no, he's white. Because the first thing, the old thing is like, black people just hang out with black people. You know what I mean? So like when I say my best friend is white, sometimes I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? Like, you trip him out.
Yeah, right.
And we're like the opposite. Like, he's the shortest white dude, and I'm like this tall black dude and shit. You know what I mean? Even though he's had like 20 years.
So, like, a couple of years ago, there was a fight on the south side between I think a Polynesian family, maybe a Samoan or Tongan family, I don't know, and and an Aboriginal family, and it was all over the news. And the only thing they showed on the news was like this fight in the street, and people were ripping off fence palings and all this stuff. And this guy comes up and asks me, he's like, "So, what's your opinion about what's happening?" I'm like, "I don't like to see families fight when they could just because I'm like because I'm Fijian." And I don't. You know what I mean? It's exactly. Like, so you can only relate to if you draw it back to just, I'm a human, you're a human.
Yeah.
I don't have some special insight into another culture, and I probably would know a little bit more than what you would, but I don't know what's actually going on in the families. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not the news I'm not the news or the source of information for anyone in the Pacific.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or it's like when people go on holidays and they're like, "Oh, the bartender I know is from this country. Do you know them?" I'm like,
it's the first thing that comes. Like, it's just as soon as there's black as me, it's like, "Do you know them?" You know, and the question, I'm like, shit, I wish I knew them.
I just laugh. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's my cousin. Yeah.
So now when people ask you, like, where you from? I said, I'm half Chinese, half African.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I'm Blackanese.
Yeah. I say that too. Yeah. My dad just recently got married to a Chinese lady.
True that. See, okay, yeah.
So I say Blackanese as well.
Well, yeah. See, but right now, bro, I swear to God, if you're looking at even like in our African culture, bro, it's like the Chinese are taking over the African.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you know, man, you know the world's blinded, so they don't show the news of what's going on over there. But we're on the Chinese take over, and that's the rule. Like, let me just say for one thing, they're the only ones who have a town in every big city in the world. Like, think about it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
if I had to go Google, I'm like, hold on, they got this shit in Africa. I really need to know now. And I went to Africa, and they had some couple of African cities. And I'm like, get out of here, bro.
You should make a Wakanda here, bro.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like we just said, like it's a world takeover, man. We got a lot. There's over 2 billion of them. Like, you know what I mean. Respect. God damn it, do your thing. You know what I mean. Like, whatever it is, it's, you know, don't hurt the blacks. We ain't got no problem, Charles.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if you know, like if wishes were fishes and I won the lottery, I would build a community center for Pacific Islander people.
Fucking beautiful. And do it your cultural way, because that was some of my mama's dream. So if I was gonna build like a youth center here, I'll build a huts.
Yeah, right.
And really give that cultural background of your home into here. So now it's like, so Australians can, you know what I mean, like come and, you know, visit in their own country, go to a hut for a weekend. You know what I mean? Show their kids, you know what I mean, how, you know, some of these African back home, you know what I mean, live in that, you know what I mean, experience it. If they get in trouble, I reckon, you know what I mean, and take them there for a minute and see how it's like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I reckon, damn, that's a damn good idea. I should take notes of that. Like, opening that, if your kids are wrong, you take them over there, you know what I mean, the trouble kids, you know what I mean, and make sure you build that, you know, and you see them coming, like, I don't want, you be shitting on the ground, you know what I mean, you ain't got no toilet paper, like, it's different back home, man, like, wow. You know, and it's like, they need to really experience the bushland of, you know what I mean, instead of being spoiled, you know what I mean, like, because I reckon it's spoiled people, that's why they just act like, whatever, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
You know, even our kids have lost it, you know what I mean, a lot of our, you know, youngsters, you know what I mean, but because, you know, grew up here, you know what I mean, and it's just like, because back home, we ain't got no gangs, we ain't got all that, we were fighting for survival, you know what I mean, we from huts, you know what I mean, like, we're a community, we're a culture, you know what I mean, things, so, you know what I mean, all that gang violence and all that, it's like, they learn that shit from here, you know what I mean, and then now all that comes from what they put on TV, so like, when you know, as a black kid, you know what I mean, like, you know, so what's that biggest influence? Let me ask you
a question, all right? In light of this, I'm going to play devil's advocate only because I want to see that stuff. I want to see how you think. So, in light of, like, you know, the police thing, right? That just happened. How do you feel when you see youth acting out that, do you think that could portray a negative light, which makes give people reason that they can make those comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So so when you see that, then you want to make that change.
Yeah, and you know,
is that right?
Yeah, but the biggest influence, man, and the biggest influence, especially on our youth and the whole black culture, is hip hop.
Sure, right.
You know,
but do you think hip hop is skewed now?
It's what it means skewed.
Well,
no, it is.
Let's say from the start, right? When you go back to, I don't know, the 80s or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you had because I'm a bit of a hip hop head. You had like, you know, the message, and you had like.
It was different back then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They were more about life, and you know what I mean, talking about the struggles and really, you know what I mean, demonstrating how life was.
Right.
But now, as you see it, it's like they've learned to capitalize off it.
Yeah, right.
And now you just like, you know, you talk like there's something I was watching the other day, you know what I mean? But, you know, they talk about prison reform.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the first thing that every, you know, rapper want to talk about is gangs and violence, and the same thing they'll put you straight into prison.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
is that because that sells?
Yeah, well, exactly, for, you know what I mean? And then he's like, who's behind this? And, you know, who's really putting this shit out there?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, we know that, you know, how there's some things that whatever we say can be taken out of taken down from like a YouTube or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean? But then now, cancel.
Right.
But now you see what they accept.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean, what they're accepting is really, you know, really manipulating the culture.
Sure.
And it's really putting these young kids into the trap.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because like when first thing I always look, I'm like, African culture itself, it is a freaking it is a community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is a vibe, it's a respect. It is a, you know what I mean? From all that. You know what I mean? Gangs don't come from over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, from back there of just survival, you know what I mean? Until it got freaking damn better. So, you know what I mean? All these gangs has been, you know, created in America.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the East America, South America, or whatever the situation now, you know what I mean? But when you turn on the media, or when you turn on the TV, or when you turn on anything, you know what I mean? All these gang-related violence, all this, as you see from, you know, America advertising. You know what I mean? Like, it's always coming from that underworld.
Sure.
And then now that just portrays the whole of Africa. And then when you see anything that coming from Africa, you see poverty and kids, you know what I mean, with freaking, you know, big stomach with flies in their eyes. But then they don't, you know, show the good side of the Africa, where it's like, come out here, you know what I mean, and really, you know, see the beautiful part of, you know, South Africa, or, you know, North, all of Africa.
It's really quite modern in places.
Exactly,
right?
though. But all the, you know how they, South Africa, they show that differently because more is Western. You know what I mean? But all the rest of Africa, you know what I mean, it's like they just give you that bad narrative of it, you know what I mean? The poverty for that.
Yeah, right.
But it's like when you go to Rwanda now, you know what I mean? Like where you get to, like, bro, like, you know, you get the beauty, the gorillas, the nature of the world, the things there, you know what I mean? And just how they're really building now, because, you know what I mean? It's like once Africa come together, it is going to be the best thing in the world. The best thing the world would ever fix. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like we go back to, well, if they ever say like of just how the world came together.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But it's just, us,
did you hear about that conspiracy theory about, is it Gaddafi or Gaddafi?
Gaddafi?
Yeah.
What did they say about it?
So I don't know if it's true or not, so don't quote me, don't, you know.
Yeah.
He was trying to make, like Africa
a one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you already know.
You know?
Yeah, right.
But it was not Jerry, that's what, and then they killed him.
Yeah.
You know,
because it would have rocked, the economy of
the world.
Yeah, right.
And it's like everything comes from there. Diamond, gold, like all that crap. You know what I mean? So I guess you just see how.
So to relate to what you're saying, if wishes were fishes and I had like won the lottery, I would make a community centre for Pacific Islander people.
Fuck yes.
And so what I would like to do is, I think it's important in society to have successful people come through and talk to the kids that aren't on what they see on the screen.
Yeah, huh?
Right? And it can even come down to culture, right? You don't have to be, if you don't want to be, you don't have to be the stay-at-home housewife, because in our culture there's a dichotomy between both sides. So you don't have to be that, because thankfully you live in a country that can give you access to education.
Yeah.
And so if you So, and look at me. So I'm an architect, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a manager, or so that way it's not just the image of what you see in social media, but there's actually someone real in your life right?
Yeah.
So you would have those people come through and talk to the kids.
Yeah.
I think it's important also to get the elderly in there doing interacting with the kids as well.
Yep, definitely. Because you see how different it is. Like here, they put the elderly in the aged care.
Yeah.
But it's not like that back in our home. The elderly are the one that actually sit there and like
They're
educate.
revered, right? And educate and teach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it happened when I was growing up, when my parents moved, when they moved from to here, both of them worked. So my grandmother came over and helped take care of me. So she lived in the house. And she helped raise me, so both my parents could earn money to buy a house and to get life started and et cetera, et cetera. So I think learning a lot from my grandmother and listening about the old stories and like legends and just how like things that happened in her life was valuable more than anything that I could probably think of at the time. It's terrible now. I'm terribly to admit, like I don't speak Fijian. I can say a little bit. I can understand it, but growing up, I spoke more fluent Fijian than what my dad could, so he couldn't understand me. He would talk to me in English, in Australian.
Yeah,
Australian, mate. Yeah, so he would talk to me in Australian, and I would answer him in Fijian.
That's wild.
Welcome to Black